Okay, this is a video to talk and help explain about the nominative and accusative cases in Latin. Let's talk about what a noun is. So a noun is a person, place, or thing. Person, place, or thing. Let's look at some of the sentences from the beginning of stage 2 of the Cambridge Latin course. Let's look at sentence number 1 and sentence number 2. Okay, sentence number 1 says, Caecilius est in atrio, and that means Caecilius is in the atrium. Number 2 says, Amicus Caecilium salutat. That means the friend greets Caecilius. Notice what happens to Caecilius in sentence 1 because it becomes Caecilium in sentence 2. So notice how the ending has changed. From Caecilius, we now get Caecilium. What's happened here? So Caecilius is in what we call the nominative case, and Caecilium is what we call the accusative case. What does that even mean? Well, have a look at a couple of sentences here. Let's look at this first sentence. Amicus Caecilium salutat. Amicus is nominative and Caecilium is accusative. This sentence means the friend greets Caecilius. Now look at the next sentence, the sentence below. That says, Amicum Caecilius salutat. Now, the words are in the same order. Amicum comes first, then Caecilius. But this time, amicum is in the accusative and Caecilius is in the nominative. So actually, the meaning now for this second sentence is Caecilius greets the friend. So let's say that again. Sentence 1 meant the friend greets Caecilius, and sentence 2 means Caecilius greets the friend. So in English, how do we know who is doing the action of the greeting? Well, we use word order. So the person who is doing the greeting comes first, and the person who is being greeted comes second. So the friend greets Caecilius, the friend is doing the greeting, Caecilius is being greeted, and he comes later. But in Latin, the word order doesn't really matter. What really matters is the ending of the word. And this is what we mean by the nominative and the accusative. Now let's go back to those sentences. Can you see a pattern happening? Let's look at metella in sentence 3, and then in sentence 4, metellam. What about over here? Quintus becomes quintum. Servus, servum, canis, canem. So it seems like all the words in the accusative case have the ending M. So in Latin, if we see a word with the ending M, it means it's in the accusative case. So let's go over that again. The nominative case is for the person or the thing doing the action of the verb, and sometimes we call that even the subject of the verb. The accusative is for the person or the thing receiving the action of the verb, and sometimes we call that the object of the verb. Let's look in a little bit more detail at those endings. Latin has what we call 3 declensions or groups of nouns. What that means is that words that have similar endings belong to the same group and they'll follow the same pattern. So why don't we look at words that look like metella? So metella ends in an A, and we saw that in the accusative case that became metellam. So we had the ending A and then we had the ending am. What about words like Caecilius or quintus or servus? Notice that we have the ending us, and in the accusative case that becomes Caecilium or servum, or quintum. So the US becomes UM. Let's then look at canis. Now, canis is a bit special. It has a strange ending IS, and in fact, nouns in the third declension can have many different endings. For example, canis is in the third declension, grumio with an O is in the third declension, or even mercator, meaning merchant, with an ending OR is in the third declension. So basically, anything that doesn't have an A or a US belongs to the third declension. And in the accusative, they all have an EM. So canis becomes canem, grumio becomes grumionem, and we add a little N in there. And mercator becomes mercatorem. So let's recap. In the nominative case, groups like words belonging to the first declension end in A and their accusative is AM. Words belonging to the second declension have the ending US and that changes to UM. And in the third declension, we can have many different endings or asterisks